What's up, guys? D-Berg here, going through my deadlift workout. Just covering some of the things. This is a basic workout. I didn't get too fancy with this, but I'm going to start doing some more of these tutorials more often. I've been getting a lot of questions about what kind of things I do when I'm training, how I structure my sets, my reps, what I focus on. So I'm going to show you guys the kind of things that I do to get my level 2 international elite level deadlift. I always start off light. You always want to get some blood flow. But if you notice, even at the lighter weights, I'm driving very hard. The bars bounces off my legs a little bit at the top. That's how hard I'm driving my hips through. What I focus on in a deadlift, I do not focus on pulling as much as I focus on pushing. The pull is going to come. It's natural. Okay? As you're standing up, there's going to be pull in your back. The number one issue with conventional lifters, the number one mistake that is made is not enough energy, not enough effort is focused on the hips. That's where the power comes from. My hips, my chest, and the weight all rise together. We want everything to be hinging at once. So if you notice, my hips move very little at the beginning, and then once I get above my knees, I transition to pulling more and making sure that the hips are coming through. So we got to make sure that we're creating force from our hips, not to our feet, through the floor. That should be the feeling. It's like you're trying to push the earth away from you. That's what we want to be feeling during that initial start, that phase. That's what's going to create that power. And after there, it's just momentum. One of the great things I love about conventional deadlift is just the ability to be an absolute savage. You can get away with that a lot more on sumo. Sumo's very technical. That's fancy, though. I don't do that fancy stuff. I'm too stupid. I love just throwing caution to the wind and just grabbing a bar and just ripping it off the floor. I worked my technique down a lot. And over the years, I've focused a lot about getting my hips engaged, making sure I'm in a proper position, making sure I'm feeling certain things in my body as I'm going through the range of motion. But with this conventional, you can just be a freaking savage and get away with it. I'm already down to my singles. I do a couple sets of 5, 3 with 315. That's usually my general pace that I keep. Whether I'm maxing out, whether I'm focusing on doubles, triples, fives, whatever it may be. By the time I hit 405, I am hitting singles, because even if I'm doing, I guess high volume would be considered for powerlifting standards, sets of 5, I'm still going to be using well over 600 pounds. So I'm going to be getting a really, really large workload in. So I want to make sure that I focus on that weight, on those reps. You don't want to be doing sets of 10 and then sets of 5 and then sets of 3 and then focus on triples and doubles at your working weight. You're going to waste way too much energy. Two biggest mistakes I see with powerlifters in the gym is they do too much volume leading up to their working sets, and they go too heavy too often. Today I'm not going to go any more than 675. I deadlift over 700 pounds, but I'm going to keep it at 675 and focus on triples and doubles. 5 plates. Well, this is 6. 5 plates, that felt good. 6 plates. This actually felt... This is 6, right? 1, 2, 3, yeah. This felt... it felt a little slow. It felt a little rough. But one thing that's weird about strength training, especially when you start to get to the heavier weights, is sometimes physically you can feel great and mentally you can be crap, or mentally you can feel great and physically you can be crap. Either way, it could lead to a lower quality workout that actually wasn't too bad. mentally this day, I didn't feel so great. You know, I wasn't in the greatest of moods. Probably still tired, still trying to recover from the competition the weekend before. I hit some big numbers at that competition, and I'm still trying to recover kind of from an injury. It's been killing me. It got even worse. I popped it at the competition. I don't know what it is, but it's to the point to where I definitely got to go and get some MRI, X-ray, or something like that. So this is my working weight for the day, just 675. I always use straps in my training, so I just want to throw a little bit of inside in there, even though this happens sometimes. Yep. Yeah, that was pretty if you see the look on my face, I'm just pissed. And I actually had to cut the workout short, and these next clips are actually from a few hours later. I worked my way back up and finished off my workout. So, excuse me. This is 675. I went out and got an emergency pair of straps, thick enough to handle the weight on the bar. Those straps that I used before, that tan strap, it's by Flex Sport. I used to use them all the time. They were amazing, but now the weight's just too heavy. They can't hold under it. You know, they last for a little while, but once they get the tiniest tear, because the cloth isn't very thick, once they get the tiniest tear, you know, you get up to 600-700 pounds and it just rips right through them. So 675. Yeah, I always use straps just because, one, the bars at my gym suck. Two, even if I had a good bar, I wouldn't want to go completely strapless all the time. You're going to eat your hands up like crazy. This also, you can focus more on the lifting. Your strength will adjust. I always do dead stop pulls. Every now and then I'll throw in touch and go, and I'll just tap and come back up. But most of the time I'm bringing the weight all the way down. What I do when I come down is I'm going slow, controlled, and I focus on setting my hips when I get down and taking a pause. Every single rep wants to be like a brand new rep. That's what we're aiming for. So we come up. I'm walking around. I forgot my camera was recording. We're coming up. We're coming down controlled. When that weight is set, we want our body to be set as if we were set up for a lift. Okay? And then go straight back up into the second one. The fatigue over the volume is going to force you to focus more on keeping your good position because you don't have a chance to get completely reset for each rep. You come down, you're set, you let the weight pause, and then you come right back up. It makes it far more difficult. Normally, most I ever hit with this weight I think was 5 touch and go, but I barely squeezed out 3 doing the dead stop pulls. And here I get 2. And if you notice, as I come up, right there was a slight pause, and then I was able to finish it out. The biggest issue with the conventional is that transition at the top.
Thank you.
Being able to bring the hips through, hinging everything all at once. That is always, excuse me, where that conventional deadlifter is going to struggle. We are very aggressive off the ground, hard at the lockout. Sumo is the opposite, very slow off the ground. But if you keep everything in line, the lockout is effortless. That's why the sumo pulls look so just friggin' beautiful. Because once you get that weight moving, it just flows, and the lockout you just rip it through. It's in sumo deadlifters, you know, even if they got 900 pounds on the bar, they make it look easy sometimes. Conventional deadlifters were ugly as hell, but we still beast though. Some of the biggest deadlifts in the world, the current also deadlift world record, Eddie Hall, conventional deadlifter. And then sumo nonsense, he's also like 400 pounds, but still. Here's another, squeeze out 2. Watch this second one. This one takes me forever. I wanted to focus on making sure that might have gotten called in a competition. I don't know. But I wanted to try my best not to do any humping of the bar. I wanted to make sure that I could focus on making sure that I develop my hamstrings. I really forced myself to grind out some heavy reps during this last training cycle. And at one point I felt some tightness in my hamstring, and one lift I thought that my hamstring was just going to snap. And ever since then, I can literally feel my hamstrings engaging. at the top of my lift when I start to struggle. And I can feel my hamstrings take over and finish off that pull for me and contract all the way through and help me bring my hips through. I can literally feel those physical differences. So you gotta, a lot of these the progress that you make, you just gotta push it. Here I bring it down, I just do some pauses right at that transition. There are a lot of conventional pullers that they pause below the knees, and sure, it adds intensity. However, what's the purpose? Every time you lift, you want to be thinking of a purpose. You got to do something for a reason. So, conventional pullers, we get stuck at that transition point at the lockout. It only makes sense that when we pause on our pause deadlift workouts, that's where we stop. I immediately started noticing a difference when I added that in. So, lift with a purpose, guys. Don't just do stuff just to do stuff.